in a cave up in the mountains to die and freeze to death. Human sacrifice to please the gods. They did this all the time. By the way, Christianity eventually, they couldn't let go of this idea, so they said, well, God doesn't want us to sacrifice anymore, so who did he sacrifice? His own son, and here's all the blood and whipping and lashing and, being put on the crucifix. Somebody has to pay with blood for God to finally be okay. God will not give you what you want until you pay with blood somehow. Right? Allah asked Ibrahim alayhi salam, because Ibrahim alayhi salam, when he was born, when he was he raised in one of these religions with 6 sacrifices? He was. That was the normal around him. And later on, Allah told him, I want you to give me a sacrifice. And what sacrifice do I want from you? Your son. But there's a difference. I need you to understand the difference. In every other religion, when do you do a sacrifice? When you want something. You do a sacrifice when? You want something. Did Ibrahim alayhi salam ask for anything? He didn't ask for anything. Allah is asking him, he's not asking Allah. He's not asking Allah, Ya Allah, I want this, that, or the other. And Allah says, okay, you want that? Sacrifice your son. There is no exchange. There's no, give me this, I'll give you that. Allah is already teaching us something about our religion that is not like any other religion. In our religion, it's not an exchange. We don't say, I will give Allah salah, then Allah will give me a 95 on my biology test. There is no exchange. Allah is not doing a sales deal with us. He makes a demand, but He doesn't say, if you do this, I will give you that. Is that clear? That's the first difference. Here's the second difference. He tries to go and do the sacrifice. And as he's about to do it, does Allah let it happen or does Allah stop it? Everything about the life of Ibrahim alayhi salam was about demonstration. Listen to this word, demonstration. When he was a kid, he said, this sun, this moon, this star, this must be God. What was that? It was a demonstration. When he broke all the idols and said the big one did it, that was what? That was a demonstration, wasn't it? Every time there is some kind of a demonstration. Allah wanted to show not only the Muslims, not only Ibrahim, but He wanted to show every human being that will ever live in this world that the true religion of Allah is a religion in which your God does not demand a sacrifice, even though you're willing to do it because you think that's what Allah wants. Right as He's about to do it, Allah says, no, that's not what I want from you. Just slaughter any animal, that's okay. Celebrate the fact, what does that prove? I am willing to do anything for Allah. I'll do anything, Ibrahim will do anything for Allah, even sacrifice his own child. He'll even do that for Allah. But Allah is not asking him for sacrifice. Allah is asking him something much, much, much less. Even though we are willing to do much more, Ibrahim is willing to do much more, Allah wants to ask him much less. Allah was showing the world, Islam is not a religion that wants you to hurt yourself or anyone else you love. Islam is not a religion in which you need to sacrifice or go through pain before Allah is pleased with you. That's not this religion. No more sacrifices to make a God happy. No more suffering to make a God happy. Are there difficulties in this life? Yeah. But they're not sacrifices. They're tests. They're not sacrifices. They're not, I'm putting you through difficulty so you can go to Jannah. If somebody has a good life, let's say somebody here has a good job, has a good home, is healthy, their children are okay, they pray 5 times a day, they eat only the halal, they stay away from the haram, and they have a good, easy life. And they start thinking, well, I have no difficulty in my life. Nobody in my family has cancer. Nobody died of a car accident. Nothing bad ever happened. I don't think I'm going to Jannah because Allah did not take any blood from my family. There was no painful sacrifice. That must mean I'm in trouble. You must not have understood that this is the religion of who? Not just Allah, Ibrahim alayhi salam. Allah is not asking for painful sacrifices. Every other religion does. Every other religion does. Allah gives, and Allah gives, and Allah does not ask back for anything more than what you would already be able to give. Nothing more. This story of the sacrifice was actually to show there's no more need for human beings to sacrifice themselves. That's what we celebrate when we do Hajj. You know that through Hajj, Allah created ease in this world. Allah made everything easy for humanity, for everybody. Yes, my dear, you have questions? You have a question? Yeah?
When you said it's not aimed at Islam, I remember there was an ayah that said there was an ayah that said Ismail wa Ishaq wa Yaqub.
Yeah, in Surah Al-Baqarah, yeah, and other places too. Yeah. But I wanna read this passage to you. I want to show you something. Is the story of sacrifice important for Muslims only?
No.
Who else? Very good. Christians and Jews. Now listen. Allah says, فَلَمَّا أَسْلَمَ When they both surrendered, وَتَلَّهُ لِلْجَبِينِ And he put him right down on the rock. وَنَادَيْنَاهُ أَنْ يَا إِبْرَاهِيمَ And we called him, Ibrahim, قَدْ صَدَّقْتَ الرُّؤْيَا You have now made the dream come true. That's enough. You don't need to do any more. إِنَّا كَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ This is how we absolutely reward those who do the best they can. إِنَّ هَذَا لَهُوَ الْبَلَاءُ الْمُبِينَ This is the ultimate test. Then Allah says, وَفَدَيْنَاهُ بِذِبْحٍ عَظِيمٍ And we replaced him with a great sacrifice. So we sacrifice a goat or a cow or anything else, and now Allah considers that great because now we remember the original sacrifice with Ibrahim alayhi salam at Hajj. Now listen to this. وَتَرَكْنَا عَلَيْهِ فِي الْآخِرِينَ سَلَامٌ عَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ كَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ إِنَّهُ مِنْ عِبَادِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَبَشَّرْنَاهُ بِإِسْحَاقَ نَبِيًّا مِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ Allah says we left him as a legacy for other people. Salam on Ibrahim. And later, and we gave him the good news of Ishaq. Meaning Ismail was not the only child. Who else was the child? These ayat teach us which son, because Allah didn't name Ismail. But later Allah said, and Allah also gave him the good news of Ishaq. So what does that tell you? Which son was supposed to be sacrificed? Ismail alayhi salam. Okay? And who comes from the line of Ismail alayhi salam? Eventually. No. From the children of Ismail. Who comes? Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, now this is important. In the Bible also tells us that Ismail was the older son. Ismail was the older son. And Ishaq was the younger son. But the Bible in many places says that the one to be slaughtered, the one that was taken to be slaughtered, was not Ismail, it was Ishaq. And once Ishaq was taken, and then the slaughter didn't happen, the sacrifice didn't happen, God was very happy with Abraham. And he said, now that I am so happy with you, because you did this, you passed this test, as a result, I am blessing your children with Ishaq. Your children with Ishaq. And I'm promising them this land. This land belongs to them because of this sacrifice. And in other places in the Bible, even if you mess up and do messed up things, it's okay, the land still belongs to these children because you made this sacrifice. That's the promise given to the children of Ishaq. And who's not part of this promise? The children of who? Ismail. The Quran comes along and says, oh, hold on a second. A sacrifice did happen. A sacrifice was supposed to happen. And a son was, that was a son of Ibrahim alayhi salam. But which son was it? Ismail alayhi salam. So the whole argument that you're special because of the sacrifice, actually you're special because of the sacrifice of the older brother, which is who? Ismail alayhi salam. And then extreme Christians came, especially in America, and they made another story, and that story was Ibrahim alayhi salam had two sons, a son with blessings and a son with a curse. The son with blessings is Ishaq, and the son with a curse is Ismail. And since the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is from the children of Ismail, he's from the cursed children, and that's why it's a cursed religion. That's why Islam is the religion of the devil. And what's the blessed religion? Christianity, Judaism. These are blessed by God. All of this story created from what story? The sacrifice. The sacrifice. And in the Bible, inshallah, eventually one day I'll do a detailed study and show you guys what exactly does the Bible say about this. You can do your own readings too. But what exactly does the Bible say about them being blessed because of this sacrifice? But yes, last night I told you, this was the greatest test of all the tests of Ibrahim alayhi salam. The tests are now done. Now Allah promised him something. Now Allah promised him, I'm going to make you a leader. You remember the conversation yesterday? What was he told in the Bible? All of your children are blessed. What's he told in the Quran? No, not all of your children. Some of them. And do they get to be blessed just because they're children of Ismail or children of Ishaq? What makes them blessed? No, they don't just become automatic leaders. How do they become leaders? How do they get blessed? It's okay, you can call it out. Okay, you can't call it out. I can't hear anyone. This is a bus station. Yes, Zunaira.
By accepting Islam and doing good.
By doing good, by accepting Islam, by not doing wrong. You have to do something to earn it. You have to follow Allah to earn it. You have to believe and do good deeds to earn it. That's the only way you can actually be from the children blessed in the line of Ibrahim alayhi salam. You understand? So this is actually a big deal, understanding this sacrifice. For the adults here, I recommend a book. It's been translated into English also. It's in Arabic, but it's been translated into English also. The Arabic title is Ar-Ra'yu Sahih fi Man Huwa Dhabih, the correct position about who was to be slaughtered, who was to be sacrificed. And the sacrificed son, I think there's an English version of that available now online. You can find it. It would be a good reading for you, inshallah, especially to understand our relationship with our neighbors, our Jewish and Christian neighbors who have certain views. I need you to understand why they have the views that they have. Where did that come from? And how we can have a conversation with them based on reason, not feelings. Right? Because that's the way of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Let's talk based on reason, not feelings. Yes, my dear?
There are many difficulties in life to get to Jannah. But what about the hadith that says this world is like a
Prison?
for the believers and a paradise for the disbelievers?
Yeah, by comparison. So the easy way to understand that hadith, my dear, is that when someone's in prison, they have a limited amount of food and they have a limited amount of freedom. And Muslims, even though we enjoy many blessings, we can't just have whatever we want. And we can't just go wherever we want and do whatever we want. So in that sense, we are limited. And Jannah means you can eat whatever you want, do whatever you want, go wherever you want, say whatever you want. And so what do disbelievers do? They have no rules. Because Jannah has no rules and prison has rules, right? So that's the comparison that's being made there. But that doesn't mean this earth is like a cursed place or a difficult place or something like that. I'll take 2 more questions before I move on and give you guys a break also. Yes?
My question is similar to what she's saying, that when we are given trials in this life, and I know you said that, people who don't have trials doesn't mean they're not going to Jannah.
Right.
But the people who are given trials, isn't that still some sort of sacrifice? Isn't that still transactional? Even in our deen, like we say salah to go to Jannah. We do good to get to Jannah, to please Allah. Isn't that some level of transaction too?
Good question. So let's figure this out together. Number 1, who you guys know something about Ayyub alayhi salam? How was he tested? Sickness. Nuh alayhi salam was pretty miserable most of his life, right? Yaqub alayhi salam, very difficult, emotionally difficult life. Ibrahim alayhi salam, pretty difficult life, as we've seen, kicked out by his own father, almost killed, and even until later on in his life, pretty isolated. But then you have Dawood alayhi salam, who lived as a king. You have Sulaiman alayhi salam, who lived as a ruler, right? And had great power and enjoyed many blessings. You have Yusuf alayhi salam, whose half his life is very miserable and the other half is extremely blessed, full of blessings. And the thing about one of the statements in the Quran is لا نفرق بين أحد من رسله. We don't distinguish between them. We don't distinguish between them. And then Allah says, we will test you, listen to this carefully, we will test you with good and with bad. Some people are much better at handling a bad situation, and they don't know how to handle a good situation. Like they were much better people when they were in a bad situation and they became horrible human beings when they got into a